Kinneret. On the shores of the Sea of Galilee, at the source of the Jordan, there was a city that began more than 5,000 years ago, called Beit Yurch, a moon house, probably named after the god of the moon, of the Canaanites. At its peak it was one of the largest cities in the country. A walled city with a large grain barn. The type of pottery that was found is called a lunar house vessel after the place, and is used by archaeologists to study the early Bronze Age. After the city was abandoned for more than 1,000 years, in the time of the Greeks a wall was rebuilt and the city was called Cinnabar. In Roman times a synagogue was built, the Byzantines built a church and the Muslims built a holiday palace. In 1905 Chaim Kalwarisky, who was in charge of the Galilee on behalf of the Jewish Settlement Society, bought the land in the area. Arthur Ruppin was sent to Israel by the World Zionist Organization to promote practical Zionism, and establish the Ministry of Palestine. He received the lands and established the Kinneret farm, with the aim of training the people of the Second Aliyah for agriculture and settlement. Moshe Berman was an agronomist and worked with Ruppin to establish the farm. He was appointed manager, prepared an economic plan and in 1908 came to the ground with a group of 8 friends who came with him from Ben Shemen. They renovated an ancient khan and began to build a farm and yard, in extremely difficult physical conditions. More young pioneers came to the farm. After about a year the economic plan failed and ended in losses. Relations between the manager and the employees did not go well, and they began a strike that ended in Ruppin's mediation. Some of the workers moved to the other side of the Jordan, and established an independent farm. They were the first group called the Mother of the Groups, that became the first kibbutz, Degania. Near the farm, they built the motorhome, which was a building with a water pump. Many of the workers contracted malaria. Conflicts with the manager continued. The workers advocated the occupation of Hebrew labor, and the workers' responsibility for management, and the manager wanted the work of Arab employees, and full control of the management. The manager built a house for himself, and the workers slept outside. The relationship ended when the manager did not allow them to take a cart to travel to Tiberias for the funeral of one of the deceased workers. The workers began a strike led by a young man of 23 named Burl Katzenelson. Ruppin came and fired the manager, and the first group of workers left. The farm continued, and set up the maiden farm to train women in agriculture. One of the girls was the poet Rachel. A group of Yemeni Jews arrived, housed in the motor home. After about 17 years they were expelled and established the village of Marmorik. During the First World War, workers came to pave the Tiberias Zemek Road, and this is how the Solel Bana Company began. In addition, they collected grain and sold it cheaply to the residents, and thus began Hamashbir, which became a large shopping center. Over the years there were many groups on the farm, who established kibbutzim. Today on the site, the Kinneret Group, Moshava Kinneret, Beit Yurach High School, and the Kinneret Cemetery where the leaders of the labor movement are buried.